Can you believe we stumbled upon this script? It's like someone dropped a secret decoder ring for all those things managers say, especially when it comes to feedback.
Yeah, it really shows how much goes unsaid, especially at work. Like, what's the subtext here?
Exactly. And that's what we're diving into today with your Dup Dive. You send over this script, and it's basically a cheat sheet for understanding what your manager really means by those common corporate phrases.
It's true. It's about equipping you to take those messages and use them to navigate your career strategically.
Okay, let's just jump right in with a phrase that probably makes everyone a little nervous. We need to talk. How many times have you heard that and just wanted to run?
Oh, I know. It's like our brains just go straight to the negative. This script really helped me see that it's often more about a manager wanting to have a focused conversation, and it might not be negative at all.
So maybe instead of picturing a pink slip, it's more like an opportunity to get on the same page.
Exactly. It could be about feedback on a project, maybe a deadline change, or even a possible promotion. The thing is, don't freak out. It's rarely a career killer.
That's good to hear. And I like how this script suggests saying something like, of course I'd love to. What specifically did you want to discuss?
It shows you're open to it, but also subtly asks for more information. Yeah, it's about taking control of the conversation instead of letting your nerves get the better of you. And something else that really struck me from this script was the importance of preparation. Before you even go to that we need to talk meeting, take some time to think about your recent work, your interactions with your manager. It's like being your own advocate.
And honestly, who knows our work better than we do? So it makes sense to be prepared to talk about it. Now, speaking of vague feedback, how about this classic? You have some areas for improvement.
Ugh, that one makes me want to shout like, what?
Right, it's the ultimate head scratcher. But this script helped me see that managers often use this phrase when they're trying to be constructive without being confrontational.
Yeah, it's like they're trying to give constructive criticism, but we need specifics to actually improve, right? So instead of getting lost in the vagueness, we need to see it as a chance to get the information we need to grow.
And you know what I love about this script? It actually gives you some good things to say in those situations. Like, could you maybe share an example of a time when I could have done something differently?
It's funny how a little change in how you say things can make a big difference. Now you're asking for specific feedback and showing you want to learn. It changes the whole vibe.
It's like saying, okay, I see I messed up. Let's figure out how to make it better together.
Yeah.
So much better than just stewing about what they meant.
Exactly. You're taking charge of your own development, which is so important at work. Now, let's switch gears to a phrase that can be a little tricky. You're a great team player. Sounds good, right?
Sure. But this script made me realize it could be a sign that you need to show off your leadership skills a bit more.
Like you're stuck in the team player category. Reliable, great at working with others, but maybe not seen as someone who can lead.
Exactly. And here's where the script gives some really helpful advice. Show them you can lead and ask for chances to grow. Don't just wait for opportunities, make them happen. Volunteer for a leadership role on a project. Present something at a meeting. Mentor a new team member.
It's all about actions, not just words.
Right.
And if those opportunities aren't just falling into your lap, the script says it's okay to just be direct with your manager. What was that phrase they suggest? It was something like, I'm really glad you see me as a good team player. And to build on that, I also want to develop my leadership skills. Are there any projects coming up where I could maybe take on a more strategic role?
I love how it acknowledges their feedback while still making it clear that you want to grow.
Yeah.
It's about advocating for yourself, but in a confident and respectful way.
And it shows you're thinking about your career and taking those steps to get where you want to be.
Which reminds me, let's talk about getting positive feedback that's so vague, it's basically useless. Like the classic, you're doing a great job.
I used to get so excited about those, but then I realized it's like eating cotton candy, all sugar rush, no substance.
Right. It feels good for a second, but then you're left thinking, okay, but what am I doing well? And how do I keep doing it?
This script made me realize it's okay to ask for details even when you're getting praised. It's about turning that empty good job into something useful.
Like saying, hey, I appreciate that, but can you tell me what's working so well so I can keep excelling? And this script actually gives you the words. It suggests saying something like, thank you. I really appreciate that. But to help me keep growing, could you tell me which projects or skills you think I really shine in?
It's like taking that vague praise and making it actually useful. You're basically asking for a highlight reel of your strengths.
Exactly. And then you can use those highlights to figure out where you want to go in your career.
Right. And before we wrap up this deep dive on decoding your manager's feedback, this script also had some great phrases for when you want to be proactive about your own growth.
It's about turning those scary career conversations into conversations, period.
Totally. It's less about demanding a promotion and more about working together to grow. Like, the script suggests saying, I'm really happy with the work I'm doing, and I'd love to find ways to contribute even more. What skills or experience should I focus on developing?
I like that because it shows you're ambitious, but also that you value your manager's input. Were there any other phrases from the script that stood out to you?
Definitely. This one really hit home. I want to take on more leadership roles. Are there any projects coming up where I could contribute more strategically? It gets your point across, but also leaves room for your manager to suggest things you might not have thought of.
Like you're saying, I'm ready for more. Let's make it happen together. This whole deep dive has been so helpful. We've gone from feeling totally lost to having a cheat sheet for these conversations.
Absolutely. It really shows how understanding what people mean at work, even when they don't say it directly, can help you take control of your own career.
So to everyone listening, we hope you feel ready to decode your manager's feedback like a pro. What really resonated with you? Have you ever gotten feedback that left you scratching your head? What phrase have you heard and wished you had this decoder ring to figure out what it really meant?
And remember, it goes both ways. We talked a lot about understanding your manager, but don't forget to be clear about your own goals, too.
You got it. Speak up for yourself and use what we talked about today to confidently navigate your career. Until next time, happy decoding.